Welcome to Grun, the Lonely King. I hope you're excited for some Gorilla Voltron. Man, it never gets old saying that. But before we jump into the deck tech, this is brought to you by IntegerTraders.com. They have you covered for any sort of guerrilla warfare that you may need. Alright, we are playing Grun, the Lonely King. It's going to be 4 colorless mana and then 2 green. It does have Kicker 3, so we're looking at about 9 mana to really take advantage of Grun. If Grun, the Lonely King, was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 5+1 counters on it. Then, whenever Grun attacks alone, double its power and toughness until end of turn. Now, as far as Grun being a good commander for multiplayer commander, I'm not entirely sure about that. I mean, you could one-shot some people. You're only swinging with one creature. But as far as 1 versus 1 commander, Grun is a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of quick games. I tried to get some really long games for you. I only ended up with... you can see my Mogus videos a little bit longer, and my other 2 videos were about 7 minutes long each, and I probably recorded around 6 or 7 Grun videos, and they all kind of either we fizzled out really quick, or we got down Grun really quick and didn't get his power and toughness and go for a one-shot commander damage KO. But it's still a lot of fun, so, and I can't wait to keep recording for Grun for the rest of the video. But let's go and break down the deck. So definitely one thing that you want to run in Grun is going to be some sort of ramp in here. We have Sumberworld Sage, Druid, and Shaman of the Forgotten Waves. Not waves, ways. All of these creatures are going to allow us to tap for additional mana to cast a creature spell, which is going to allow us to cast Grun a lot quicker than normal. I am running your standard Cultivate. Kodama's reaching here, but I don't want to bore you with that. Outside of that, you definitely want to make some extra land drops. We have Burgeoning and Exploration. Getting these down is going to allow us to churn out Grun a lot quicker. Now, onto the fun stuff. Our instant speed interactions with Grun in the combat step. So we're running Berserk in here. We can only cast this before the combat damage step. Target creature gains trample and gets +X until end of turn, where X is its power. At the beginning of the end step, destroy that creature. So let's say your opponent offers up no blockers. You go for Berserk. You can do this in response to Grun's trigger. So it's going to double its power and toughness. You cast Berserk in response to that trigger, you're going to get doubled, whatever that is. Same thing with Primal Bellow and Rancor. The good thing about Rancor is that it's going to give Grun trample. There's going to be some scenarios to where maybe Grun doesn't have trample. If you're swinging in with the 20/20, that's great, but if he doesn't have trample, then they're going to be able to chump block with a 1/1 scroll token all day. So simply 1 green mana, getting that +2/+0, which is going to give us an additional +2 once we get that trigger on the stack, and trample is a really good card for the deck. And then Primal Bellow, oh, it's just +1/+1 for each force that you control, so you'll probably end up with a really big Grun. I mean, it just can't. This deck was so much fun. I can't wait to keep playing it. We're also running Run Wild and Scent of Ivy. With Run Wild, mainly it's in here just to give Grun that trample damage. Let's say our opponent doesn't offer up any blocks because Grun doesn't have trample. Instant speed, give it trample. And you can also use it as a 1 instant speed regenerate target creature with that green mana activation. And they're also running Scent of Ivy. Reveal any number of green cards in your hand. Target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of revealed cards this way. Now, there may be some scenarios where Scent of Ivy is not that good, but simply being able to churn out a 1-hit KO commander damage win in 1 turn with that, it's definitely worth running it in the deck. Now, outside of these 1 mana instant speed interactions, we do have a few more that give Grun trample. We're looking at Unnatural Predation, Predator Strike, and Awaken the Bear. +1/+1, +3, and then +3. All going to give it trample and give that additional power and toughness bonus that we're desperately looking for with Grun. Now, a lot of these instant speed interactions are great, but one thing that we have to do is make sure that we can protect Grun, because if we can't protect Grun on the battlefield, we're not going to be able to get that win. So, just like the other spells we have a lot of stuff that we can interact at instant speed. We have Blossoming Defense, Hapatra's Mask, and Ranger's Guile. These are all going to give Grun hexproof and give it some sort of power and toughness bonus. Ranger's Guile and Blossoming Defense is going to be +2 and +1. Hapatra's Mask is basically just a green mana. Grun gets hexproof. Outside of these, we also have a couple more in here. We have Sheltering Word and Woodcutter's Grit. Target creature gets hexproof. We can also gain a lot of life off Sheltering Word, which is, I don't know, it's just a really fun thing that I noticed with the deck, that you get a lot of life once you get that power and toughness up there. And then Woodcutter's Grit, it's going to fit in there with that +3 bonus and give it hexproof at the same time. Now, we're not running, some of these, actually, these spells right here are going to protect Grun, but they're not instant speed interactions. Well, Heroic Intervention is, but it's going to protect our entire board. But stuff like Spider Umbra and Sylvan Safekeeper are other ways just to get onto the battlefield and make sure that we can protect Grun. Now, we're not running a ton of Voltron stuff in here. I found that mainly you want to kind of just put your opponent into a position where you're trying to go for an instant speed win. But we're still running a few artifacts in here. We have Black Blade Reforge, +1/+1 for each land that we control. Key to the City is going to allow us to make sure that Grun's going to be able to swing in unblocked, and then Swiftfoot Boots to make sure we have that good protection. We're also running Hero's Blade and Storm Rider Rig. Both of these cards are going to allow us to equip these onto Grun whenever it enters the battlefield. We're looking at either 6 or 9 mana, wanted to get our commander down, so having something that's going to equip on there and immediately give that bonus without having to pay anything is definitely worth to run that in there. But that's pretty much it what we're running in here. I did kind of build an Enchantress Voltron build of Grun, but I found that, like I said, 6 or 9 converted mana cost commander, it's a little hard to kind of keep that game plan going once you're tapping out for that, especially if you have some sort of spot removal. Outside of the Voltron pieces, we're all running a few utility cards in here that are actually a lot of fun to play with. Canopy Cover is going to give it's going to give Grun hexproof basically from our opponent, and at the same time making sure that it can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Savage Summoning is actually pretty cool in here. You can go for that the end step. It's going to enter the battle with an additional +1 counter on there, which is going to allow you to kind of push into that higher commander damage range. And then Alpha Authority is going to make sure that it has hexproof and it can't be blocked except by one creature only. We're also running Primal Rage and Nyella, God of the Hunt. Both of these, we can get these down to simply just give Grun trample, not have to worry about it. If they want to destroy Primal Rage, go for it. But Nyella, the good thing about that is it's indestructible and it's going to give that. And also have the activated ability, target creature gets +2 until end of turn if we end up going for that. A few other utility cards in here that were really good. Paragon of Eternal Wilds, really good. It's going to give other green creatures +1/+1. And then for 1 green mana activation, we can have Grun fight another creature, another target green creature you control gains trample to end of turn. So it's going to fit on theme with giving that +1 and giving that trample. Hunter's Insight, it's one of those cards that, let's say that we have one of our mana dorks down. We're swinging with a mana dork. We don't have a lot of card draw going. We can go for that Primal Bellow. They give that +1/+1 for each force that we control, and then go for Hunter's Insight to draw some really good cards. And also running Asceticism in here, it's a good way for us to kind of get a little bit of protection for some board wipes, and make sure that creatures can't be the target of spells or abilities our opponents control. Also running Mirror's Guiles, another way for us to kind of filter lands in here. Definitely want to run Sensei's Top if you're running multiplayer commander, regular commander instead of 1 versus 1. And then Crossroads is going to make sure that all creatures have haste. Now, once you do get down Crossroads, you want to make sure that you can at least close it out with Grun. You don't want to get it down too early and your opponent just swing in and then take advantage of your life total all the way down to 0. Now, that's going to be it for the deck tech. I do have 3 gameplay videos up for you today. Like I said, some of these videos ended up being really quick because our game plan is to pretty much one-shot commander damage, but it's a lot of fun, and I cannot wait to keep recording with Grun. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.